Welcome back to Language Made Difficult. In the news today is an opinion piece by Bruce Price that appeared in the Canada Free Press. The editorial is entitled, "Is English a Phonetic Language? Of course, 100%. Well, to sum up, this is if I understand Price's argument, which is brief. His argument is that English spelling allows you to recover the sounds of English words with 100% accuracy. Sure, there's lots of inconsistencies in how individual sounds are spelled out, but once you've learned the system and the exceptions, you've got a, quote, 100% phonetic writing system. Well, okay, let's be clear up front. This article is not really about language, is it? It's about education, and unfortunately, those don't seem to be related topics. But still, as linguists, we are obligated to respond to this incursion onto our turf, right? So what do you think, folks? Is the Price right? Is English 100% phonetic, or is this just another utterly inept appropriation of linguistic terminology? Trey?
He's not right. He's not even wrong. It is, in fact, a total misappropriation of linguistic terminology. He's got framework psychosis. He's got a bee in his bonnet about teaching phonics. And he's bringing in this quasi-linguistic notions to make himself sound smart. And he's confusing phonemic orthography with phonetic language. And I don't know. He's just making stuff up. While reading about this, though, I did learn of an interesting new concept called orthographic depth, which is a subjective measure, but it's about how phonemic an orthography is. So English is relatively deep because the orthography doesn't really reflect pronunciation very well. And, for example, Italian is relatively shallow. So that's the concept he should have been working with, but it doesn't matter. He says English is 100% phonetic while he just kept bringing up examples and tossing them aside of a lack of a one-to-one correspondence between writing and pronunciation. So I don't know what he means by phonetic because he just says it's true and then brings up examples that seem to contradict his point and then keeps going.
Well, those are the exceptions. And he says, sure, there's exceptions, but you learn the exceptions and then they're not exceptions anymore. You've learned how they correspond to the phonetics, right? Isn't that what he meant?
I don't even know what that means.
I thought what he meant was that he was going to prove that English has no phonology.
That would have been useful.
That would have been awesome.
You go directly from the sound to the morphological level, something like that.
That sounds like stratificational linguistics, doesn't it? No. There was another stratum in there somewhere. It would have been awesome if he could have proven that English has no phonology. But I don't think he's trying to do that. I think he's trying to prove that his way of teaching people to read is better than anything anybody else could come up with.
Well, in that, I think he's a little bit remiss in not making the distinction between how hard it is for a reader as opposed to how hard it is for a writer. Because while it is true that just about anybody who can sound out a word can eventually figure out what it says on any particular page simply by knowing the language, it's very, very hard, on the other hand, for someone who understands the basic mechanism of sounding out to decide how to spell correctly if he's writing.
Right. I think Andrew Jackson is claimed to have said it's a damn poor mind that can only think of one way to spell a word.
Well, I was actually thinking of a contemporary of Andrew Jackson. I was thinking of Jean Lafitte, who in his 1816 letter to President James Madison misspelled quite a number of words, including sentiment, which he spelled with a C, apprehension, which he for some reason thought started with an H, and the word funds, referring to money, funds, he spelled it as F-U-N-S. You could argue that if you actually went and read his letter, which I have, that it's perfectly comprehensible, even if he did misspell all those words. So what does it matter? But the thing is, he was asking President Madison to give him his money back. And since he didn't spell the words right, he did not get his money back.
It really all boils down to sociolinguistics, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Aren't we sick of this whole orthography thing yet? Really, at some point, everybody just has to get together, hold hands, and pitch it out the nearest window. Because aren't we tired of it? I mean, we've been having this argument for a really long time. And if we just let go of it and spell the way we want to, just think of the glorious freedom we could all have.
I have a counter proposal because we don't want to throw out all our books. The problem isn't really that the words are not spelled the way they're pronounced. It's that they're not pronounced the way they're spelled. So we just start pronouncing it that way. And within one generation, you'll have yourself a phonetic writing system.
So some people have already started with often.
Exactly.
We just need to go from there.
We just need to carry that to its logical conclusion. Yeah.
Well, I've noticed in the area I live in the Midwest, all of the local speakers have turned forehead into forehead. So they seem to be on this bandwagon already.
Mm-hmm. Maybe another, 100 years?
Don't you mean foray heed there, Phil?
That's true. It should be forehead.
Forehead, yes.
Yeah.
That's even better. Forehead.
And of course, 222 is two, to, and extra long, to.
I think you just accidentally spoke some Japanese.
No, she moved towards recreating Old English.
Well, that's what got us into this mess. Middle English, at least.
We'll have to get our vowel links back, and we'll have to get some new dip songs. It won't be so bad.
How do you guys want to pronounce O-U-G-H?
Ocht.
We're going to need a new phoneme there.
Alga.
Algot. That's a pre-aspirated T, I think, isn't it?
I didn't actually mean with the T on the end, but that's a perfectly fine example. If you don't know, Dr. Seuss, before he was Dr. Seuss, did a cartoon with a big muscular guy plowing a field that was all wobbly, and it was called The Tough Coughs as He Plows the Dough, which is just the truly horrible set of examples of O-U-G-H being so messy in English.
And there it is.
So you guys want that to be the Toch Coughs as He Plows the Dough?
Yeah, I like that.
I think I just accidentally spoke Klingon.
It would spread a lot of SARS, though.
but I would point out that if you're actually doing this correctly, it wouldn't have a ch. It would have a g.
Yeah, but I can't do that.
So it would be things like plow.
Oh, you want to get rid of all the digraphs?
Well, that's how they're spelled. There's a G and an H. It should be a g.
So what are you gonna do with TH?
Tuh.
Yeah.
Better get a different microphone
and
before you do that.
Haha. And notice the effect of this is not just to make spelling transparent. It's to make things sound a little more like Indo-European, yet not kill us.
I'm just excited about my name becoming Sahari. I think that'll be cool.
Would it be, or would it be Saharai, since you spell it with an I?
No, because that would be AI then. I think we have to do sort of the Latin vowels, I think. So Sahari.
Yeah,
all right.
absolutely.
So we count one, two, three.
Hey, long E there.
Four.
Power.
And vive. Okay.
Ooh, and sich.
Sich. Yes. All right.
And I got.
I think you skipped saving.
Oh, saving. That's because it's boring.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. All right.
Well, I'm not sure we've solved any of the questions about education.
But we have decided that phonetic English would be awesome.
But we've certainly decided that the English spelling system is not really being utilized to its full potential. So I think that's another place where research grants are probably just hanging around out there waiting for us to apply for them.
Department of Education.
Department of Education grants are almost certainly just hanging. They're like low-hanging fruit, waiting for us to come along with some other invective against both whole word and phonic education approaches. And we'll need a new name for our way of doing things that makes us sound modern or something.
Well, we just mash them together and call it whole grain phonics.
50% more fiber.
Regardless of what we do, I would just point out that we can actually combine research programs because very little ensures public compliance with a language policy proposal like giant robots.
You mean Giant robot.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, where's the stress going to go, you guys? This is a problem. We should regularize the stress while we're at this because really.
Actually, we can pick up tone.
Oh, no, we're not doing tone.
No tone.
Forget it. No.
No tone.
No. I did them in the wrong order. No.
That was pretty good.
Thanks. I'm working on it. I mean, tahankes.
There was an epenthetic schwa in there.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I don't think your pronunciation's very good.
Tahanks.
Yeah, okay. I gotta work on it. I guess we still need phonology as a transitional drug until we get this all worked out.
But I think getting rid of phonology should be one of our goals.
Yes, absolutely.
After reading this and the lovely discussion that we're having, I feel we should maybe take back some of the bad things we've said in the past about physicists who do linguistics. Because at least it wasn't this bad.
Well, like I said, this person isn't doing linguistics. He's doing education, and that's an utterly, utterly different enterprise, unrelated to linguistics.
Okay, but he did appropriate our terminology.
He appropriated our terminology, and I think he means something by it, but it's certainly not what we would have meant. Okay, well, I guess that's all the deep insights we're going to be able to recover from this article, or at least from the discussion of it. So I think it's time now for a commercial break.